Imagine being born in New Zealand, coming from a rugby family, growing into one of the most physically gifted locks in world rugby and becoming an international star before your 21st birthday, yet never wearing the black jersey. This is a story of Warner Dearns, and right now, the conversation around him is bigger than it's ever been. Every time Dearns pulls on the Hurricanes jersey, the same question gets asked by rugby fans across New Zealand. Could he be an All Black? Some believe New Zealand have missed out on a world-class lock. Others say the rules are the rules. But one thing is certain, Warner Dearns has become one of the most talked about players in world rugby, and the deeper you look into his story, the more fascinating it becomes. Warner Dearns was born in Wellington on April 11, 2002, into a family where rugby was already part of everyday life. His mother Tanya Dearns represented New Zealand as a black fern, meaning international rugby wasn't some distant dream. It was something that existed within the family itself. Like many young New Zealanders, Warner's early years were shaped by the rugby culture. However, unlike most future All Blacks, his pathway would take a dramatically different direction. While many of New Zealand's elite players progressed through schoolboy rugby, provincial systems, age grade representative teams, and eventually Super Rugby, Warner's rugby education would happen somewhere else entirely. When he was still young, his family relocated to Japan after his father accepted a coaching role there. At the time, it probably seemed like a simple family decision. Looking back now, it may have been the single most important moment of Warner Dearns' rugby career. That move changed everything. Instead of developing within the New Zealand rugby system, Warner would grow up within the Japanese rugby. He would attend school there, learn the game there, and eventually emerge through a completely different rugby pathway from one followed by many Kiwi rugby stars. As he progressed through school rugby in Japan, it quickly became obvious that he wasn't an ordinary prospect. Standing over 2 meters tall, Warner immediately possessed the physical size that coaches searched for years. Yet what truly separated him from other young locks was his athleticism. Most players that size can dominate lineouts and scrums. Warner could do that, but he could also move. He covered ground exceptionally well, carried the ball effectively, tackled with intensity, and possessed the mobility of a player much smaller than his frame suggested. As he developed through high school, his reputation continued to grow. Coaches recognised that they weren't simply watching another tall second rower. They were watching a player who had the potential to become a genuine international star. Before long, Warner had become one of the most highly regarded young forwards in Japanese rugby. His rise into the professional ranks happened quickly. Joining Toshiba Brave Lupus Tokyo, one of Japan's premier rugby clubs, Warner adapted to the professional rugby far quicker than many expected. While some young forwards require years to adjust to the physical demands of senior rugby, Warner appeared comfortable almost immediately. His size, work ethic, and willingness to get involved around the field made him a standout. Whether it was carrying into heavy traffic, disrupting opposition lineouts, making tackles, or doing the hard work that often goes unnoticed, Warner developed a reputation as a player who consistently influenced matches. Those performances eventually led him to the opportunity every rugby player dreams about. In 2021, at just 19 years old, Warner Dearns made his international debut for Japan. That achievement alone highlighted how highly Japanese rugby viewed him. Lock is one of the most demanding positions in rugby. Physical maturity matters, experience matters, decision-making matters. Many players spend years developing before they're trusted at test level. Yet Japan believed Warner was already ready. And they were right. Rather than looking overwhelmed, he looked comfortable. Rather than struggling with a step up, he embraced it. Over the next few seasons, he established himself as one of the key figures in Brave Blossom's setup and become an integral part of their forward pack. But while his international career was progressing nicely, it was his move to the Hurricanes that truly changed the conversation back home here in New Zealand. Ahead of the 2026 Super Rugby Pacific season, Warner signed with the Hurricanes. Immediately, rugby fans took notice. For years, many New Zealand supporters had only seen brief highlights or heard stories about his performances in Japan. Suddenly, they had the chance to watch him every single week against some of the best players in the Southern Hemisphere. What followed only intensified the debate. From the opening rounds of the season, Warner looked completely at home in Super Rugby. His line-up work was outstanding. His physical presence was impossible to ignore. His engine room around the field regularly saw him making contributions long after many forwards would have started to tire. Week after week, he became one of the Hurricanes' most reliable performers. When the Hurricanes needed a line-out ball secured, Warner delivered. When they needed a dominant tackle, Warner was often involved. When they needed a forward capable of carrying through heavy traffic and generating momentum, Warner consistently put his hand up. What impressed many fans wasn't just his size. Everyone knew he was big. What stood out was how complete his game looked. Modern rugby demands more from locks than ever before. It's no longer enough to simply win lineouts and push in scrums. Today's second rowers need to be athletes. They need to defend across the entire field, contribute at breakdowns, support attacking movements, and maintain a high work rate for 80 minutes. Warner Dearns has shown all of those qualities throughout the season. The more people watched him, the louder the discussion became. Could he play for the All Blacks? Would he make the squad? Would he even start? Those questions become increasingly common as the season progressed. And that's where things become frustrating for many New Zealand fans, because the answer isn't based on his ability, it's based on eligibility. Warner Dearns is already a Japanese international. He's represented Japan at test level and is fully committed to the Brave Blossoms program. Under current World Rugby eligibility regulations, that means he cannot simply switch to New Zealand and become available for the All Black selection. Despite being born in Wellington, despite having New Zealand rugby roots, despite now playing for the Hurricanes, the door to the All Blacks remains closed. And that's what makes this entire story so compelling. Every time Warner produces another stand-up performance, people naturally imagine what he might look like wearing black. Every dominant line-out, every powerful carry, every huge defensive effort, the conversation returns. What if? What if his family had never moved to Japan? What if he had developed through the New Zealand schools and provincial rugby system? Would he had already been competing against players like Scott Barrett, Tupavai, Fabian Holland and Patrick Tuipulotu for the All Blacks jersey? It's impossible to know for certain. What we do know is that Warner Dearns has become one of the most talked about forwards in New Zealand rugby. The Hurricanes have gained a world-class lock entering the prime years of his career. Japan have secured one of the most valuable players in their national program, and New Zealand fans are left wondering what might have been. Because while Warner Dearns may never wear the black jersey, his performances this season have shown exactly why so many people wish he could. But what do you think? If Warner Dearns was eligible tomorrow, would he make your All Black squad? Would he start? Or does New Zealand already have enough depth in the locking stocks? Let me know in your comments below. Ever wanted to create your own rugby highlights channel just like this one? With my course, the YouTube Creator Toolkit, I show you exactly how I do it, from the tools I use to the templates I built. You get everything. Just copy, paste, and start creating. Learn how to grow your channel, keep viewers hooked, and turn views into income. Click the link in the description below to learn more and start your channel today. Now back to the video. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and turn on notifications for more rugby content just like this. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace!